the most frustrating part, hands down, about being an Eagles fan is other Eagles fans. Because, all right, matter of fact, it wouldn't even be because, you know, every fan base has that vocal minority of people who find something to bitch about. It don't matter. Always find something. But for the Eagles, for one, it's not so much a minority. I wouldn't say it's a majority, but I would say it's a good 50-50-ish split between fans with sense and the niggas that the rest of the country knows us for. When y'all think of Philadelphia Eagles fans, these are the mofos that y'all think about, that come to mind. You understand? The niggas that used to, you know, the throwing snowballs at Santa Claus and shit like that happened, you know, 50, 60 years ago. Throwing batteries at players and, you know, cheering for, you know, Michael Irvin breaking his neck or whatever. It's like a good 50-50 split between people like me who have sense and them other niggas. But what makes it so frustrating is that the split, it's about, matter of fact, I would say that it's an even heavier slant with the writers in this neck of the woods. And it's so, like I said before, there's only two Eagles writers that because, all right, so let me back up a little bit. So it's Victory Monday. You understand what I'm saying? And based upon, if you turn on sports radio, which is always, you know, ass. If you turn on, you know, Whip This Morning, or if you turn on, you know, Get Up or whatever, you feel me? The Hurts haters are having a field day today, right? And when I say Hurts haters, I'm not talking just specifically about the people who the same motherfuckers who hate Lamar for about the same reasons. We ain't gonna go into too many detail. You already know what it is. But I'm talking about the people who, because this is what I think. I think that there is a contingent of people who have had already made up their minds about Jalen Hurts. I think going back to Bama, you feel me? Same way there's a bunch of people who already made up their minds about Tua. You dig? Not Hawk Tua, y'all know what I'm talking about. There's a bunch of people who already made up their minds about Tua. You understand what I'm saying? Once they saw, you know, Justin Herbert and all of them play and whatnot, and decided, oh, well, you can't win a quarterback with this guy. And so now, I'm sorry, you can't win a Super Bowl with this guy. So now here we are in a situation where the Eagles won against Carolina. It was the least convincing win that we've had in over a month. You feel me? Because remember, just last week, don't let the box score fool you. Just last week, we walked into M&T and dog walked Baltimore, a Super Bowl contender. The week before that, you feel me, we dog walked the Rams, who just beat, you know, everybody's favorite, you understand what I'm saying, the most gawkable quarterback in the league. You understand what I'm saying? Beat them 44-41. There are people in this neck of the woods who rather lose the way that Buffalo did than to win the way that we did last night. And the reason why, I really can't tell you. I really can't tell you, to keep it a buck. It's certain people that, unless your name is Josh Allen, unless you are Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, for whatever reason, unless you are one of those quarterbacks, they're going to bitch about you, including the writers. And so getting back to what I was saying about, because now the narrative for the whole rest of this week is going to be, is Jalen Hurts holding the Eagles back? Can the Eagles win? Can they go to a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts? And I'm like, shut the fuck up with that. You understand what I'm saying? Like 22 didn't happen. You feel me? Like come off of that narrative. You feel me? People act like two things can't be true, right? Because I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that. So and I did a skeet about this. Those of y'all who ain't on Blue Sky, follow me on Blue Sky. You know, fuck Twitter. You feel me? We done moved on from that. We off that old John and we on to the new hotness. You feel me? But I was talking about I forget. I have said this on Blue Sky, right? That, you know, Jalen is a three-point shooter. We all know this by this point. He is the type of guy that he got to see the ball go into the hoop a few times before he gets into a rhythm. Y'all feel me? He's gotta he can't just go in cold, and that's why you see him, you know, we start these drives off and he's like 0 for 4, 1 for 5, whatever the case may be. He's got to get into a rhythm. And so when you hear AJ Brown say, when they ask him, you know, what's the problem with the offense, and AJ says passing, he's not saying it's just, he's passing. The passing game is more than just Jalen Hurts, and that's why I'm like, shut the fuck up with that. You understand what I'm saying? The passing game encompasses, yes, partly the quarterback holding on to the ball forever. You understand what I'm saying? Missing, you feel me, not reading the field well when the game starts. Y'all understand what I'm saying? But he picks it up by the time we get to the second half. Philly ain't have the ball for that long yesterday. I think Carolina held on to the ball for like 10 more minutes than the Eagles did all game. We only had like 56 snaps worth of offense, so there's only so many pass plays that you can run to get a guy into rhythm at that point. But y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all just want to hear, oh well, Jalen Hurts is the problem. And like I said before, I think that a big same thing with Nick. You feel me? A lot of people have made up their mind about Nick Sirianni, and so anytime they can find an opportunity to say, oh, see, I told you so, they're going to harp on to that. And it sucks because, you know, one of the handful of people whose opinions I actually take seriously is Johnny Page, right? Johnny Page, you know, he breaks down all of the X's and the O's and the this thing and the that and shows you how, you feel me, two things can be true. You dig? You can't, one, like I said before, I said this about Nick, I've said this about Jalen, I've said this about just about everybody, right? Is that, you know, the if you're going to go out your way to criticize a guy, right? If you're going to go out your way, you feel me, to point out all of the flaws in what a guy is doing, you feel me, the criticism, when they do right, you got to acknowledge that too. The praise has got to be just as loud as the criticism. You understand what I'm saying? And I ain't going to call out his name. I ain't even going to do him the honor of that. But I'm going to put it, I'm going to say this. Those of y'all who follow the Eagles already, probably, those of y'all who follow, you know, Eagles beat writers and whatever, y'all already probably going to know who this person is. But what sucks about, you know, following Johnny Page is, you feel me, in order to see a lot of his stuff, you know, it's his boss, man, or at least his editor is a primary culprit of this. Is, you know, expect even more so with Nick, And I'm glad that a few weeks ago people started calling him out for that. Is that you can't sit up here and bitch about all the stuff that Nick does wrong, and then when he gets it right, you feel me? Then it's all, well, I don't know how much of it is the coordinators. I don't know how much of it is just the talent around him. Like you can't sit there and talk. You can't sit there and say Nick is the single solitary reason why shit is going sideways, and then when it starts looking up, then you don't want to give him his flowers, right? And he does the same thing with Jalen. It's like you go out, and he's not the only one, but it's like you go out of your way to point out, oh, this throw he missed over here, this throw he missed over there. If you look at the threads during the game, and so why it's funny. So I'll give you a perfect example, right? Because I wasn't able to catch the whole game yesterday. I only got to see from like the end of the third quarter to the end of the game is what I was able to see. But I was following the thread. You feel that? That's really the only reason why I got Twitter at this point. Is to follow the thread, what to keep up with what's going on in the game real time. And part of the thread was he retweeting another guy who's pretty decent. Matter of fact, he's on a podcast with Paige. Is Shane Half, and Shane Half pointed out the fact that which he has a tendency to do this. That Jalen missed AJ streaking for what could have been a touchdown. You understand what I'm saying? And he does have a habit of doing that, especially in the first half. You understand what I'm saying? Of being, as Greg Cosell, what Greg Cosell described as a see it, throw it quarterback. I don't think that that's an accurate definition. I think that that's just, again, he's streaky. You feel me? Once he sees a couple of completions, then he can throw an anticipation. But to just, wholesale say, oh, well, if he don't see it open, he ain't going to throw it. That's not accurate, in my opinion. But anyway, I digress. So he retweets, what Shane Half says, and says, this is the worst game that I've seen Hurts play, in a long time, in a while. But doesn't retweet where later on, Half also said, he basically makes the point that Jalen is picking it up now. He's playing better in this half. He's making great throws. He's playing with anticipation, but you ain't retweet that. You understand what I'm saying? Instead, you do these half-hearted, backhanded acknowledgments, and it's like, dog, shut the fuck up, because y'all that's what that's the thing, man. It's like, two things can be true, and I think too many people, especially people whose job it is to write about this stuff. Like, I expect that type of shit from ESPN, because that's how they get their clicks. That's how they get their views. You understand what I'm saying? Is to say the most inflammatory, the most the hottest take possible. You feel me? But y'all whose job it is to break down the X's and the O's, you feel me, and as best as possible be objective, you want to sit here and say, Jalen Hurts is the single solitary thing that's holding this team back. Bitch, no, it's not. You understand what I'm saying? Not when you have receivers that are running into each other due to no fault of their own. You understand what I'm saying? The reason why they're running into each other on a mesh concept is because their routes are within like 5 yards of each other. You understand what I'm saying? When you got three receivers, lined up in trips, and all of their route, and they're all running the same route. One is running, a hitch. The other is running a curl like 3 yards up further, and another one is running an out route. And they all on the same side of the field. The fuck you think is going? What do you expect? You understand what I'm saying? So you can't. Again, two things can be true, man. I don't think, outside of Saquon, because Saquon is basically Superman, right? Outside of Saquon, I don't think anybody played particularly well on the O yesterday. And I put that on the coordinator as well. I put that on the head coach. You know, again, when you say that the passing game is an issue, it's not just one dude. You feel me? It's the entirety. We're talking about execution as well as scheme. You feel me? Is not performing up to standard right now, and that's okay. And it's okay to have that conversation. What's not okay is to have, these disingenuous takes about, well, Jalen Hurts is the problem, when Jalen Hurts, got you 35 yards on a scramble drill. You understand what I'm saying? In a gotta have it type of situation. You feel me? Where and this has been the story of the season, is that when you got to have it, you understand what I'm saying? There hasn't been a game yet, aside from the Tampa game, there hasn't been a game yet where, when put in a third and gotta have it, fourth and gotta have it, or whatever situation that you in, where you just like, Jalen, go cook, we gotta have it. There has not been a game yet this year where Jalen has not come through. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't sit there and bitch about the things that he's not doing well, and not talk about, you can't bitch about the touchdown that he missed when he threw for two and ran for another. You understand what I'm saying? Regardless, I don't care how many yards he scored, you feel me? What's 6 times 3? 21 points. You understand what I'm saying? So that's that. I just wanted to get that off my chest, man. Is, you feel me? And listen, all of this can be put to bed if they come out, and if they beat Pittsburgh and Jalen has a halfway decent passing game. You know what? No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not going to get put to bed unless you feel me, they make it to the Super Bowl. You understand what I'm saying? So that's all I have for y'all today. Is, outside of a handful of people, you dig, Philly sports media is nothing but a bunch of bitch ass niggas. Again, outside of a handful. So yeah, that's the video.